Hi everyone, welcome to week 39 of pregnancy, your 25-minute workout. And just a note before we begin to take things at your own pace, especially as we're nearing labor now. We don't really want to go super hard and heavy on the workouts and end up being tired in labor. So although we're still going to get into some strengthening movements today, get the heart rate up a little bit, get into some stretching, we're not going to go too hard. So we'll start in standing with our warm-up, and I want you to open your legs a little bit wider than hip distance apart, hands clasped overhead, and we're just bending from side to side. As you bend, you're giving your wrist a little bit of a pull, so you should feel a nice stretch along the torso. And you can go my pace or you can go a little bit slower, but we're just stretching out that spine, warming things up. One more each way. And then hands move to shoulders. You're just going to twist from side to side. Keep the hips facing forwards. So now we're really just getting that mid-spine twisting and rotating. Keep a little bit of tension in those abdominals. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Down onto the legs, so wide legs, fingertips on the floor or hands on your knees. But with a nice straight back, you're gonna bend the knees and then extend. Bend and straighten. You don't have to straighten your knees completely. You're just straightening enough to feel a bit of a stretch in the calves or the hamstrings. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You'll then stand up and get into a split stance. So one leg forward, one leg back. You're going to tuck the pelvis under and just rock it forward until you feel a bit of a hip flexor stretch and back. So if you want a little bit more of a stretch, you can almost come into a lunge as you just rock the hips forward and back. So open as wide as you need to go to get that hip flexor stretch. 3, 2, 1. Switching sides and just rocking that back hip forward and back. Tucking the pelvis under as you bring the hips forward, clenching the buttocks or squeezing that glute as you bring the hips forward too. And this is also a nice pelvic mobilization. 2 and 1, and we'll just go through that quickly one more time. Hands up and bending from side to side. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands on shoulders, twist. So no hard work just yet, just making sure we're a little bit limber before we begin. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wide legs, fingertips on the ground or hands on knees, and bending and straightening, keeping the chest open and back straight. So it's more about having the back straight than having the knees straight. And you can hold it for half a second to really feel that stretch. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming up into that split stance, as wide as you need to go, pelvic tuck under, and just rocking the hips forward and back, feeling that hip flexor stretch. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Switching sides and rock forward. Pelvis tucks under as you bring those hips forwards. 3 and 2 and 1. Okay, so we'll work a little bit on our core in standing now. So with hands behind the head, you're going to lift one knee up and then other knee up. So as you're lifting that knee up, you're trying to get it close to that elbow, but belly might be in the way, movement might be a bit difficult or restricted at this stage. So you don't have to lift it super high, but you're bending down and you should feel these oblique muscles working as those legs come up to that elbow. Try not to fall out of it. Bring down that leg with a little bit of control. 6 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're then down into some squats. So wide legs, you're going to go down for 3, stand up 1, down, 2, 3, stand up 1, 1, 2, 3, as you come up, push the hips forwards. So you've got a big glute squeeze as you stand up tall. So we're working those glutes. And that lower over 3 counts is also going to work the quads. Push forward, down, 2, 3, stand up, 2, 3, just go as low as you're comfortable. 3 more. 2 and 1. We then bring the legs a little bit closer together and do the same thing with calf raises. So we'll start up, we'll lower, 1, 2, 3, and then come up 1. Ooh, and try to keep your balance at the same time. So down, 2, 3, up, down, 2, 3, up. So keep going with that movement. And as you're doing so, your glutes are squeezing a little bit, as always, to give you some stability. You've got some tension in that belly, so your core muscles are on to give you a little bit more stability. Up, down, 2, 3, up, and your eyes can focus on one spot, maybe just above the screen in front of you, to help you keep your balance. Down, 2, 3, up, down, 2, 3, up. 2 more. And 1. Okay, we repeat, starting with those knee lifts. If lifting the knee is sore or aggravating in any way, you can just do a side bend in standing and still be working those oblique abdominals. And so we go. side to side, controlling that leg lower. So you shouldn't be breathing super heavy right now. You should be able to speak quite comfortably. As I said, we're not going for it with the workouts too hard the closer we get to delivery. We've got 6 more. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Down into that squat. Down, 2, 3, come up. Down, 2, 3, squeeze at the top. Down, 2, 3. And if you're feeling really good and you do want a little bit more, you can come up fast and then go back down and switch to this, which is a bit more of a power move, and we've done in some of our other workouts. But otherwise, just stick to that slow, controlled lower over 3, squeeze at the top. You should be feeling it already. 2 more. And 1 more. Same thing with the calf raises. So you're going to start up, lower, 3, 2, 1, up, 3, 2, 1, up. Make sure that your weight is even on your feet. Often we can be more on one side than the other, but you want to try to keep the weight even on both sides. Squeeze up to the top, down, 2, 3, up, down, 2, 3, up. Keep it going. Hope your calves are feeling the work like mine are. Down, 2, 3, just 2 more. Last one. Up, and just shake those feet out. You can take the feet back into a little bit of a calf release. Switching sides before we now move down to the mat. So you can kneel forward or you can roll down, but we're going to end up on our knees and our elbows. Okay, so walking forwards, down onto your elbows with knees underneath hips. You can open those knees a little bit wider to give you some stability. Before we begin, make sure you're pushing up and out of those shoulders, and we'll just do a few braces to start with. So let that belly go. Inhale, and as you exhale, brace, lift that baby up closer towards you. You should feel the tension in the abdominals here as you flatten your ribs and release. Just 3 more of those to prepare. Lift, brace, hold for 3, 2, 1, and release. 2 more. Lift, hold, brace. 3, 2, 1, release. Last one. Lift and hold. And this bracing is going to be a good early technique to start to introduce into workouts or just into your routine soon after you give birth. Okay, from there, bring the elbows a little bit more forward, and we've got a rock. So you'll start with that abdominal brace, And then you're rocking the hips forward into a little bit of a plank and back as you hold that abdominal brace position. And with this, you can play with how far you bring those hips forwards. Have a look down at that belly, make sure it's rounded rather than pointing. If it's pointing or coning, or you're getting a bit of a hill running down the front of your belly, then you may need to reduce the size of the rock or go back to the bracing that we just did. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. From here, come up onto your hands, a little bit of mobility. You're going to take one arm up to the ceiling for a twist, and then down, and then other side. Open out, and back down. And you're just switching from side to side. Last one. And we're going to go back down and do 15 more rocks. So elbows down. Start with that abdominal brace. Hold it as you rock forward and back. Or if that's a bit too challenging at this stage, just do the abdominal brace. Keep pushing out of those shoulders. Halfway there. Five to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Coming up onto those hands. We've just got 4 twists, 2 to each side. And 1. Last one. Okay, so we'll now move to a kneeling position with one leg out. So I'll take one leg out to the side here. Hands are going to come behind the head, abdominal brace. We've got a side bend over 2 counts. So we go down for 2 and up for 2. Down for 2 and up for 2. So you should once again feel it working the abdominals here.
Any ideas?
The stronger we can keep our core and abdominals through pregnancy, the more effective we should be at pushing when it comes time for that. You're not going super low because at this stage, 39 weeks, it's probably a little bit difficult to control a huge range of movement. But go down to where you feel comfortable and you're still able to keep the core effectively engaged. We don't have that coning or that pointing. 3 more. 2 and 1. You're then just going to lean forward for a quick stretch. So sit the hips back, keep the back straight, and hinge forward until you feel a bit of an inner thigh stretch. Just for a quick bit of mobility and stretching before we do the other side. And come up, switch. So other leg goes out. Hands behind the head. Exhale, flatten those ribs. Bring some tension into that abdominal area. And we go down and come up. Down for 2 and up for 2. And up. Down for 2, up for 2, keep it going. Have a look down at that belly, see what it's looking like. Are you controlling everything well? And I can already feel my obliques starting to fatigue a bit here. But I'm still keeping my form, so I can still squeeze out a few more reps. 2 more. And 1 more. And then fingertips down, sit the hips back, keep the back straight as you stretch out that inner thigh. Breathing. It's good to practice breathing any chance you get from here on out. Okay, so now bringing the knees together, we'll work a bit on the legs again. So starting down here, you're going to come up, push the hips forwards, arms reach overhead, and come back down. Reach and down. So it's an alternative to a squat. We're working some of those same muscles, but just in sitting and kneeling. Hips forward, reach overhead. If this is quite hard on the knees, you can also just do a normal standing squat, and adding that arm movement is going to get the heart rate up a little bit. Up and down. We've got 7 to go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And sit back down. Just wiggle those hips out a little bit. And we're going to move into a side lying position. So here you got one up, one elbow down. Rather, knees are slightly bent in front of you. Push out of that bottom shoulder. We're going to do a side plank and just hold. So no pulsing or twisting, just a side plank hold here. So bring the hips up, push the hips forward. We hold here for 30 seconds. If you need a bit of a break, you can do 5-second hold, come back down, and then up again, 5-second hold. Otherwise, we're trying for a full 30-second hold. We've got 10 seconds to go. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Quick break, roll out that shoulder if you need to. We go back down and do another 30-second hold, or short 5 to 10 second holds. If you're battling to control that form, brace, lift, hips forward, and 30 seconds. You can place one hand on that belly just to help bring awareness to those abdominal muscles. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, switch to the other side. We're going to do 2 plank holds here, and then we'll move into some stretching. So down onto one elbow, hips up, brace, hold. breath going as you hold here. Push out of that bottom shoulder. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Quick break just to roll out that bottom shoulder if you need to. Back down, one more 30-second side plank. Push out of that shoulder. Hips up, push them forward, give the glutes a bit of a squeeze and hold. Keep it going. Just under halfway to go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Okay, let's stretch it out a bit. I know you might be feeling heavy at this point, maybe some stiff and achy joints, so we'll just do a bit of release before we finish up. Knees wide, you're going to walk those hands forwards into a child's pose. So here, just relax the head and the chest, and inhale, exhale. Walk your hands over to the right side, add a side stretch. And then walk over to the other side. Okay, coming up to a kneeling position. You're going to bring one leg forward, tuck the pelvis under, and we're rocking forward into a hip flexor stretch, and then sitting the hips back. All the while keeping nice and tall through the spine. Forward and back. One more. And back. Then you're going to walk that front foot out a little bit wider and then lean forward. So you're trying to make space for that belly. You're opening up that back hip and that lower back. If you can't get your hands to the floor, you can have them on a chair or something a little bit higher. Okay, other side. First, tuck under. We've got a few rocks. So pushing forward and pushing back. Up tall with that spine. Two more. And one. Open that front leg a little bit wider, give yourself some space, and then hinge forward. Keep the back straight, try not to hunch. And open up that hip. Okay, from there, standing up. Last stretch, hands behind the back, open the chest, and just take your head down to one side. And over to the other side. Breathing throughout. One more each way. last one. And just roll out those shoulders, relax. That is the 25-minute workout done. I'd encourage you to keep checking out Belly Strong videos even after you've had your baby, because there will be some recovery videos from those first few weeks after you've delivered, which may be helpful. I will see you soon on another Belly Strong video.